So how do you build a brand in 2,955 crore rupees under 5 years? That too not by selling beauty, but actually by selling chemistry. That's what we are going to talk about today. Quick note before we start. So this video is not sponsored by anybody. This is my team's and my own research, intricate research which we've done. Let's get into it. I have this packaging in my hand, if you can see. This is the brand today we are going to talk about. So this brand was launched in 2020 COVID. Peak COVID, nobody was selling offline because everything was closed. Online e-commerce was booming. But this brand had the guts to actually test out a very different and unique strategy, which was very opposite from what was happening at that time. They walked into the market. At that point, the market was filled with brands like HUL, L'Oreal, P&G, all these big companies in skincare. 5 years later, this brand is actually acquired by HUL. Still, any guesses which brand is this? And this brand was exactly sold for $342 million in 5 years. Today, we are going to dissect this brand. So it's a very interesting case study. Let's get into it now. So the mystery brand is Minimalist. Yes, this is Minimalist I'm talking about. Okay, now let's get into the technicals, okay? These guys, zero ads spend first 2 years. In these 2 years, they were crossing 150 crores already. Zero celeb endorsement. They did this in 3 phases. So today we're going to talk about these 3 phases and how they executed it and how you can execute or replicate this for your own business. So the brand is actually just the proof. Most businesses, chase attention first. When you launch a brand, usually people or agencies tell you that you need to, start running ads, start burning cash, and you need to do that branding. That is the 95% cases how people are launching brands, and especially this is happening in India right now. Even we used to tell that to our clients, and we still do in some cases. That's valid. But what they did, let's execute that. This brand actually did the opposite. It reverted the whole strategy. Yes, you're hearing me right. So what they did, they earned the trust first. This is a normal brand and Minimalist, okay? You run ads, you spend, you get eyeballs, you build trust, right? Usually. What they did, trust first. I'll tell you how they did it. Attention, which once built, compounds. This is a very quiet strategy, and this is a very loud strategy, by the way. Last week, we covered a strategy which was completely opposite. That was of Snowberry. I'll put the link in the description about the Snowberry case study. That's quite opposite than this, and that's a very successful brand too. So you should also see that case study if in case that resonates. So let's talk about the trust now. So the first phase is actually about trust, which is building credibility. So what their mindset was, trust before visibility. What traditional brands do, they have a very nice, sleek model on the packaging. They have claims, get fair, whatever. So I'm not going to take a specific tagline, but you know what I'm talking about. Beautiful model, colorful packaging. So this is the traditional way, right? Minimalist way is actually 10% niacinamide. So they were selling actually chemistry. I must tell you, this is one of the brand which in India actually educated the people. So education is a very important factor which they nailed on. This is the brand which told what is niacinamide, what is salicylic acid, all these terminologies, and that was how they started. They brought that up on their packaging. But how did they do it online? How did they get the eyeballs? So for trust, they went to Reddit, they went to Quora, forums, and they started talking about skincare and these chemicals, this niacinamide, salicylic, and all these educational side on Reddit. Dermatologist bagged content, and on their Instagram they were giving explanation on these chemicals rather than selling, and that's what also was there on their packaging. What they were doing is teach before you sell, become the default authority. But now the second part, which is very important, which they started building, was transparency. So this brand is actually inspired by a Canadian company called The Ordinary. It's a Canadian brand, same ingredients, very similar packaging to this. And when they were pinpointed about this, they did not hide it. They said, yes, We are inspired by the ordinary. They openly claimed it. And you know, when you openly claim something against you, there's nothing to say then. You just won the battle. What is the result? Let's talk about the result of this. So they hit 100 crores in 8 months. I would actually name transparency, because this is part of their whole thing, as 1.1, and the 2 is actually a bigger phase, which is scale. First, you get your trust, you get seen on these platforms, right? And then you come to scaling. This is the biggest mistake which the brands actually do. They want this initially. They want to scale. They forget this element. So this was done in 2023 to 2024. Now they started all swing, but very smart all swing. So, you know, they started with digital performance ads. They started with Nika, Amazon, Flipkart, YouTube pre-rolls, OTT, but Amazon Prime only, and retargeting. Their advertising budget at this point was 36% of their ad spend, which is 65 crore rupees, which is not minimal at all, but this is what they did out of a lot of profits. But now we have to notice what they were doing in their ads. They were very smart. They were not introducing their ads to strangers. They were pouring fuel on the fire they already have lit, from the trust factor, from the credibility factor. Imagine this: if someone already have seen Minimalist on Reddit, on Quora, or maybe anywhere, if someone has been tagged, you know, their product to anybody else, like in shares and stuff. So that was the kind of audience they were targeting. Someone who has seen Minimalist before, someone who's been seeing those educational videos, someone who's suffering from, like me, acne and kind of researching how to get it fixed or stuff like that. So they just went to their own acquaintance is the right word, someone who has seen or heard about Minimalist before. That was their winning game, and especially the Reddit part, the Quora part, and all these parts. What do most brands do? Ads is going to strangers, and then maybe someone buys or someone doesn't buy, but or you get the eyeballs. Okay, this is the normal way. What they did, they built their trust, they had the attention. When now they've done their Quora thing, now if they run ads and people see eyeball and people see, oh, them, and maybe you've seen their Instagram and you see ads, and then you see, oh, these guys, and then that's the way they were doing ads, and these ads were converting. So this is the fuel they were putting on the fire. Let's get into a very interesting thing which they did. There are so many options in India for OTT: Netflix, Apple TV, Zee, Sony. So they sat in the middle, and this is how their brand is. So they ran their ads on Amazon Prime only. See, this brand is positive in a lot of cash flow. They have 100 crores right now, 65 crores they spent on these marketplaces. They have still a lot of money to spend. Their cash flow positive brands right now. But these guys still chose not to go full blown. So they chose their specifics, which is Amazon Prime, right kind of buyer, plus affordable, but you can say aspirational pricing model. Okay, this is a premium fit for us. Audience who knows, who wants to know about their skincare, who wants to know about salicylic acid putting on their food, niacinamide, XYZ, blah, blah, blah on their face, who can afford to do better skincare, you know, for acne, for blemishes and whatnot. So, and this fuel actually worked. FY23, they had 184 crores. FY24, they had 350 crores. That is 89% growth year on year. Let's summarize till now. You've seen the transparency and all the Reddit parts of the first phase, which was very successful. Now this phase, Amazon, Nika, Flipkart, YouTube pre-roll advertisements, bringing OTT into the picture. Amazon Prime only, right buyers, affordable aspirational targeting, premium fit, this all. And not selling to just strangers. This is the wrong way. This is how you might be thinking of doing, not the wrong way. No, they actually what they did, trust, attention, the first phase game, then putting ads on, showing the ads to their first phase audience, which was this mentioned here, then getting the eyeballs, then retargeting. This is retargeting. Then then this was the fire they built. and then Amazon Prime added, and what happened? The match is here in front of you. Now the third phase, which was the main thing, they defend the category now. I'll tell you how. So you've heard about this strategy called owning the category. Like old times when we were kids, we were talking about Coca-Cola. So there was in India, there was a very big campaign, Thanda matlab Coca-Cola, right? Sports was Nike, right? So now they thought this way. So they were not actually thinking that how do we get noticed? This is not the question they were asking themselves. What they were asking is, how do we make sure that if someone in India is asking about science-backed skincare, they think about us first. That is the thing they did. So with this, a lot of awareness which they created, which a lot of recall they created. So the ultimate proof that the moat worked, this was a small brand, and HUL and all these brands were big, but HUL offered them 2,955 crore rupees in 5 years. That's a 5x evaluation, a jump in 3 years, which they got, a 10x revenue multiple. When most D2C brands get maximum 3 to maximum 6% you usually get. They didn't just win customers, they became so dominant in the market that they became the premium leader in this category. HUL could not beat them, HUL bought them. And that's what smart companies do. At the scaling thing, they did something very crazy. They did not put their products on grocery or general shops. They put their products on chemist shops. In India we say chemist, in international countries we might say druggists. So if I find this product on a chemist shop, the trust increases that, oh, it's not a beauty product, it's a science-based product. This is subconscious marketing psychological play they were doing. I myself click a picture, so this whole rack, which is like minimalist products in one go, I just picked one, and that's all. Now I've seen a few brands, they are also doing the same thing, which were not doing before. And then they started doing international scaling. The product is also available internationally in few countries and priced well. In short, their whole strategy is trust, scale, and then defend. This is the whole strategy. In short, you tell me, if you know about salicylic acid face wash, if you know about LHA, tell me any other brand you know. I know Minimalist. Do you know any other brands? Please tell me in the comments. Now, there are some issues in the brand as well. It's always not a happy game. Number one, when the transparency is high, you've set the bar very high. Now, if any mess up they do, like with niacinamide acid, salicylic acid, the percentage is the 0.2% this, 1% that, 10% this. If there's any fake claims, the whole brand image is gone. So the second strategy is the anti-giant strategy. Like, we are small, we are not big, we do not want to do the traditional brand ways, but now HUL have bought them for a very decent money. Now this goes against the whole brand image which they built. Obviously HUL is a very smart and very progressive company, so they will not just ruin everything and just put model faces on this, obviously. But what I'm trying to say is, this is something very opposite what they started with. But this is how it is. You have to get acquired. If you're getting money, why not? Neither of these pressure points are very much fatal, but these are good to go on. Let's summarize. You build a 2,955 crore rupees brand in 5 years in the market, which is ruled by giants, with zero celebrity endorsements, and for the first 2 years almost zero ad spend. You've not chased attention, you've got the attention. Second, you advertise after you've built your trust. Third, you stop chasing customers in all category. You pick your own category and make it your own category. Everything gets cheaper, easier, and more durable if you understand the whole system. And that's the leverage they've created. That's how you beat people 10 times your budget. This is what we tell our clients as well. One of our client is a dentist in a very competitive city. We tell him that, what's the best you are at? He says, I'm very good at smile makeovers. I tell him that's what we're going to promote. We're not going to promote implants, which everybody is doing, which is very competitive. Let's open this and let's see, by the way, how the packaging unboxing experience. So I'll just open it up, and if in the both cameras, I think I'm coming. So this is the whole brand unboxing also done on the video. Nice. So this is the, I'll use it now. So last week we did a video which was quite loud, a brand which did completely opposite something. They also did not run ads, but something very opposite in other, business strategy terms. We saw this brand with the same lens of our, eye, with the dissection eye. Next week, next brand, next strategy. Put in the comments which brands do you want us to dissect, which brands strategies do you want us to understand. And again, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. This is a lot of hard work we've done, and thank you so much.